Hello dear listener, please subscribe to our channel. Enjoy watching. I was sitting in my car outside the gym, staring at the entrance, wondering what had gone wrong. It wasn't the kind of place I'd ever imagined staking out, but there I was, gripping the steering wheel with sweaty palms. The glowing neon sign over the door reflected off the rain-soaked pavement, giving everything an eerie, greenish glow. It felt like the set of some detective movie, except I was the guy whose life was falling apart. It all started about 6 months ago. Jess and I had been married for almost 8 years, and while things weren't perfect, I thought we were okay. We'd had our rough patches, sure. I mean, who doesn't after being together that long? But lately, she'd been distant, always on her phone, and disappearing for work meetings that stretched suspiciously late into the night. I guess I should have seen the sign sooner, but I didn't want to believe it. The real clue came out of nowhere. One night, I was going through the laundry, something I rarely do. Call me lazy, but Jess usually took care of it. That night, I was out of clean socks and had no choice. I opened her gym bag, and that's when I found it, a receipt for a fancy hotel downtown. The date on the receipt was from just last week, and it listed a charge for 2 breakfasts. Jess hadn't mentioned any work trips, and she sure as hell wasn't eating 2 breakfasts by herself. My stomach dropped. I sat there on the edge of the bed, staring at the slip of paper, my brain firing on all cylinders. Was this real? Was Jess really cheating on me? I couldn't confront her, not yet. I needed more. If I stormed in there without proof, she'd deny it, spin some story, and make me feel like I was losing my mind. No, I had to be smart about this. And that's when I started planning. Over the next few weeks, I began to piece things together. Jess had been sneaking off to meet a guy, someone she met at the gym, of all places. It wasn't hard to figure out once I started following her routine. The gym had always been her escape, and now, apparently, it was where she'd found someone else. Some personal trainer named Logan, a dude with perfect abs and a fake smile. The type of guy who probably took longer to style his hair than most women. I hated him instantly, and I hadn't even met him. I installed a small GPS tracker on her car. You can get one of those online for next to nothing these days. I paired it with an app on my phone that let me follow her every move, and before long, I had a pretty clear picture of her new schedule. There was a pattern: gym, coffee shop, hotel. It was the same routine twice a week, like clockwork. She didn't even bother to switch it up, no shame, no attempt to cover her tracks. Now, here's the thing. I'm not a violent guy. I wasn't going to do anything crazy like harm them. But I was going to make them pay. Oh, I was going to make them wish they'd never messed with me. So, I set my plan into motion. I spent hours researching ways to get back at them without ever laying a finger on them. I didn't want jail time. I wanted justice. Real, poetic justice. The first step was to make Logan feel the heat. I found out which gym he worked at and started making calls. Posing as a disgruntled customer, I spread rumors about his inappropriate behavior with female clients. I knew the fitness industry ran on reputation, and even whispers of a scandal could ruin someone's career. Sure enough, a few weeks later, I saw him arguing with the gym manager. I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but soon after, his social media accounts went silent, and I stopped seeing him at the gym altogether. Step 1, check. Jess was next. And for her, I had something special planned. You see, Jess prided herself on her career. She worked for an advertising firm and was known as the Golden Girl, always climbing the ladder, always chasing the next promotion. What she didn't know was that I had a little secret of my own. About a year ago, I stumbled upon some emails she'd written, confidential client information that had accidentally ended up in a shared folder on her computer. I never thought much of it at the time, but now it was gold. I sent an anonymous tip to her company's legal department, attaching the sensitive emails. To make sure she didn't suspect me, I used a VPN and an encrypted email service. I made it look like a whistleblower from inside the company. Within a week, Jess was called into a meeting with HR. I didn't know exactly what went down, but when she came home that night, she looked shaken. Her usual confident smile was gone, replaced by a nervous edge I'd never seen before. She told me she'd been suspended pending an investigation. Something about a data breach, she said. It's all a misunderstanding. I didn't say a word. I just nodded, trying my best to hide my satisfaction. But I wasn't done yet. I'd arranged for something else to happen that night, something that would push things over the edge. Using a fake email account, I sent Jess an email pretending to be from Logan. In it, I wrote a fake love letter, complete with details only she and Logan would know. I scheduled it to arrive while she was sitting next to me on the couch. When her phone buzzed and she opened the message, her face turned white as a sheet. She turned to me, eyes wide, but I was already standing. "Who's Logan?" I asked, my voice cold as ice. She stammered, trying to come up with an excuse, but I wasn't having it. I walked out of the house, leaving her there with her guilt and confusion. That was the last time we spoke in person. I filed for divorce the next day. As for Logan, well, let's just say his troubles were far from over. The gym incident had rattled him, but I wasn't finished. I'd done some digging into his past and found out he'd been married once, to a woman who lived 2 states over. A woman he'd left without a word, apparently abandoning her with a ton of debt. I tracked her down and gave her all the info she needed to go after him legally. From what I hear, she's making his life a living hell. Karma's funny like that. In the end, I didn't have to lift a finger to hurt them. Jess lost her job, her reputation, and our marriage. Logan lost his career, his reputation, and soon, whatever savings he had left. And me? Well, I got the satisfaction of knowing that they'd both suffer for a long time to come. It's funny how things turn out. All because of a forgotten receipt in a gym bag. If you leave a comment, tell us what you think about the story you heard. It's important to us and will help us find and tell stories that you find interesting. Thank you for watching us.